So the recording has started. This is a class on OET medication case notes. It's an introduction class, but it's basically just a simple class on what you should do when it comes to putting details about medication into your OET letter. So I'm here with Han and Niraj and a number of other people. Can you guys all just say hello and tell me if you can see my document?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. We can see your document.
Hello, we can see.
Okay. So therefore, if I say Niraj, thank you, microphone's off. Niraj, what's the first thing we're doing today? Ooh, maybe that's he's got some noise in the background there. I know Niraj has a young daughter, I think. Let me ask someone else. Let me ask. Oh, microphone's off. Let me ask. Who was speaking before? Was it Fayal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I saying your name right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we doing first today?
How much detail should you give? I think thing you have written in the case note. Yeah. I'm
just going to address this question with all of you, okay? And I've got a nice way of thinking about it. Hopefully you guys will find it useful. So the question is, how much detail should you give? Okay. Then we're going to ask, where should you put it? What do I mean by that, Han? Where should you put it? What does that mean?
Which paragraph?
Which paragraph, basically. Excellent. And the last thing, let me ask Benita.
Yes, sir.
3 and 4. What are we doing?
How to write medications. It means if generic name or brand name.
Kind of. Now, here I'm just going to teach you how to do it. Here I'll just teach you, hopefully. I'll show you commas and the correct phrases, okay? Last thing will be practice, okay? So let's get cracking. Let's get started, all right? We're starting off with this question. How much detail should you give when it comes to medications? When I say that, what I mean is, what should I say? He is on paracetamol. Shall I just say that? Or do I need to give the dosage? How much detail do I need to give?
It depends on.
Sir, only paracetamol is okay.
Okay, so Niraj says that. Han, what do you say?
I said it depends on the reader.
Depends on the reader. Okay.
And condition of the patient?
It depends on the reader, the condition of the patient. I like that. Is that Benita?
No, sir.
Oh, who was that? Someone new?
Nukba.
Okay, Nukba, fantastic. Okay, well, we will get to know each other, I promise, okay? So Nukba, I like that. It depends on the reader, it depends on the condition of the patient, and lots of other things, okay? So how can we deal with this? How can we deal with this problem? Let's look at an example. Let's start off with an example. Here we have, who is this? Nukba, what's the name of the patient here? Nukba or Fayal, what's the name of the patient?
Adam White.
It's Adam White. Now, I'm sure many of you have done this before. Who's done this before?
Not really.
Okay, good. Han, you've done this before. Who else has done this before?
Yeah, me, I did.
Me, sir.
Or nurse.
A few other people. But some people haven't. Okay. Well, what we're going to do to start off with is we're just going to read these case notes. Okay? I need you all to know what I'm talking about. We need an example, don't we? So please read these case notes and tell me when you have finished. So read this page. Just tell me when you are finished, okay? You've got, 1 minute, 2 minutes, something like that. The reason we're doing this is we just need an example. We need some context. It's a bit of a noise there. So just be reading this. You don't have to rush. Just think about what's the situation here. I know there's a few other people in class. We've got Emma here. And a few others I'll be talking to shortly. Alketa. Alexandra, Kin. I'll be asking you guys questions in this class. I like to spread my questions around for everyone. So guys, just tell me when you're finished. Here we can see all the fast readers now. Okay, so Kalyan, very fast. I like it. It's a good skill to have, isn't it? Especially for reading part C, reading part A as well, I guess. Shiva's done, and a gentleman or lady called Vakinov.
It's me, Neshka, by the way.
Ah, right. Ah, okay.
We had phone call, but we had no chance to study with you.
And I know that you've spoken in the Skype group many times. I know you. Yeah. I think you're on Facebook as well. So
yeah.
Okay, I feel like I know you, Neshka. Okay.
Yeah, I am. But in these days, it's a long story. But I am Neshka.
Okay.
She's very popular, Alan.
Oh, really?
Am I?
Is that true? Right. Okay. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
like
Because
that.
of your accent, Nesca.
I think.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Because,
Yeah, it's very distinct.
Well, I'm
I
coming
noticed
from
you.
Bulgaria, but I'm coming from Turkey.
Yep.
Originally from Bulgaria. It's mixed.
Yeah.
Put my camera.
That's
Right. Okay. Well, it's nice to have you in class. I hope this is useful today. Why are you popular though? I don't understand. And why would you say that?
I don't know.
Does everyone love Neshka?
I hope.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
That's nice. And are you Paul's favourite student? Is that what it is? Are you we call it the teacher's pet? Have you ever heard that, guys?
I don't know.
Teacher's pet. That means the teacher always loves the most clever student.
I think so.
Is that you? Are you the teacher's pet?
I don't know.
All right. Well, look, I'm going to show you another page, guys. We need to focus on this. Okay. So I really need you to be thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the situation here, Adam White, what's his medical problem?
Cancer, bowel cancer.
Right. Okay. And he's being prepared for a procedure.
Yeah.
Right. So this is all about pre-procedure preparation. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, again, you're going to have to read this as same thing. But we need an example to start off with. Okay. So we can debate. Off you go. Read this. Tell me when you're finished. Alexandra, there's no way you finished already. Zenobia, I don't believe it. Who are these new students who are amazing? Are you guys doctors?
Yes.
Okay. I've been marking some doctors' letters today, so that would make sense. All right, don't rush, guys. This is just so when we have a discussion about medication, we have some context. We have a real example, okay? Because to me, it's not 100% clear what we should do with the medication. Maybe for you guys, it will be easy. This is just our example today. Okay, so Neshka, you finished, Kin's finished, Benita's finished, Nukba's finished. All right, okay. So let's get started then. In these case notes, right? What's the situation? Han, if you just give us an overview of what the situation is here.
The situation is Adam White, he have problem with his power, and recently he noted that he have some pattern changes, so he want to have cancer screen. So he have the result is abnormality. So he decide he worry because he have a family of cancer, colon cancer. So he want to have a colonoscopy.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So he's going in for a colonoscopy. He's worried about bowel cancer. This is the situation. Now, is there any medication here, guys?
He has ibuprofen for just paracetamol, just for his pain. Yeah.
So here we have a situation where
allergic, sensitive to codeine.
And there's codeine here, right? So here we have a situation where there are some medications, but we've got a guy who's going in for pre-procedure preparation, okay? So my question to you guys is, what do I need to include here? And I'm going to ask someone specifically, okay? So let's ask Neshka.
Yeah.
Do I need to include all of this?
No.
I agree, right?
I can just mention that he needs ibuprofen when needed, but please note that he's sensitive to codeine.
I think that this one is the key. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Because this is relevant to...
Because some of the painkillers include codeine as well.
Yeah. And the reader of the letter, they are helping him with his procedure, right? Do we need, now I'm honestly not 100% sure here, but I'll ask Han, do we need this? What do you think?
Need what? No.
No.
It's okay.
I'm thinking no. Yeah. I'm thinking, and do we need anything about the leg?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because his procedure is colonoscopy. It's not related to the leg.
Yeah, right. So we all know, don't we? I'll turn the screen off for a second. We all know that some things, when it comes to medication, people always say, shall I include all the medication or not? Well, it depends on the reader, doesn't it? It depends on the situation. Okay, sometimes you need to include it, sometimes you don't. However, it's still very, very difficult in the exam to decide what is needed and what is not needed. It's difficult. So I have an idea. And I'm going to teach it in this class today. I think it's useful to think about possibilities. Okay, what does possibility mean, Benitha? Possibility. It's difficult. Shiva, what does possibility mean?
Yeah.
Give me a synonym.
Chance.
Chance. Okay, chances. Okay, good. There's another good synonym. Anyone?
Possible.
Possible.
Likely.
Possible. Likely. Probability. Yeah, all this stuff. Good. So when we talk about possibilities, we're saying what can happen, what maybe will happen. Okay? I think there's only 4 possibilities when it comes to medication in OET. Okay? The first possibility is that...
Side effect?
Not quite. What I'm talking about here is, will you need to include it or not? Right?
Okay.
And the first possibility is you do not need to include it. All right? Does everyone agree? For some case notes, it's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone think of examples?
So, for example, the patient Adam Smith is posted for colonoscopy. So there is no need to tell them the paracetamol and ibuprofen, because ibuprofen is given for the leg pain and paracetamol is also for pain. And they are giving already analgesics.
But with Adam White, remember with Adam White, guys, we said that Adam White, we need some of it, but we don't need all of it, right? We don't need paracetamol, but we do need, what do we need for Adam White?
Codeine.
Codeine, allergy. So Another possibility is this. You need to include detail about some, right? Or one or two, I'm going to say, medications, but not all. All right, so that's like Adam White. If you're very, very unlucky, right? Let me ask this question to Zenobia. Are you there, Zenobia?
Yes.
If you're very, very unlucky in the exam, in the writing exam, what will you need to do? If you're very unlucky. Sometimes you need to include all of the medication. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you done one like that where you think, oh God, I've got to put everything in here? Has anyone done something where they think, oh God, I've got to put every single thing in? No? No one's ever done that?
Not remember name.
Surely someone has. Okay, well, one possibility is you need to include all of the medication in the case notes, okay? And this is the difficult one, and this is the one I will teach you today a little bit. But there's one other possibility. And people always forget this. Microphone's off. There's one other possibility. Right? Can anyone think of what it is?
Is it transfer of care? From first.
Okay, but if it's transfer of care, do I need to include all the medication or not? What do we think, guys? Should I? How much should I include?
But if you said, for example,
okay, go on. Who said, for example?
Sir, for example, if the patient is having hypertension, or we are transferring that patient to another home, we have to tell them that his patient is on amlodipine or whatever.
Okay.
Hypertensive drug. This is very relevant.
But Niraj, depending on who the reader is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Microphone off. It could be 1, it could be 3, it could be 4. It depends, right? But what about this, guys? What if I just say this? Yeah,
ongoing medications.
Oh, go on.
If the patient has taken some medication in the past, so I think it might be the reason we can't include
I think that's true, but look, again, you're still going to have these 4 possibilities. One will be that you do not need to include it. One will be that you need to include detail, but only 1 or 2 medicines, not all. One possibility will be that you need to include all of the medication. Another one is where you say something like this.
Ongoing medications.
Adjust the dose.
We can.
Yes, go on.
We can give
complaints.
Sorry.
Right, we've got lots of ideas. Oh, this is very, very good. We've got lots of ideas, but let me just show you what number 2 is, okay? Do we always need to give dosage and amounts?
We can say painkillers, analgesics, antibiotics, like that.
Yeah, for some, right, you will need only to name and list them, not to give dosage and amounts, right? This is what we're going to practice today. Number 1, you don't have to include anything. That's great. That's going to save you time. That's great. Okay. Number 2, you do need to include something, but you don't need to include the dosage and the amount and the amounts. For example, please note that, right, Mr. Green is currently taking, can someone give me some examples now? Metformin.
Painkillers.
Painkillers. What else? Shout them out, everyone. Metformin, painkillers.
Vitamin supplement.
Vitamin supplements. And
antihypertensives.
Antihypertensives. Okay. Now, in this example, am I putting in dosages? Am I putting in amounts?
No.
No, right?
For antihypertensives, we need dosage.
This is what I'm saying. It depends. It's all a possibility. If you're writing to someone who is not giving them the medication, then why are you going to give them the dosage?
Yes. If you're writing the letter who is going to continue care, you need to include
then it's number 4, right?
But it depends on the situation.
Exactly, right? So we have these 4 possible situations that I'm saying you guys need to think about. Number 1, nothing. Number 2, just summarize it, list it, but no dosage. By dosage, what do I mean, Han? What's dosage?
The amount,
like 50 mg, yeah?
50 milligrams.
And no schedule. What do I mean by schedule?
3 times a day.
Twice a day, right? So sometimes I think a lot of students forget that they can do number 2. Like maybe the reader does need to know about metformin and painkillers and vitamin supplements, but they don't need to know about the dosage and the schedule. And that's going to save you so much time if you decide that, right? I know the spelling's here, I'll sort that in a second. But sometimes you will. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you need to include the detail. By detail, I mean dosage.
Yeah,
right?
Especially under request.
But not all, right? So Mr. Adam White, we only needed to give one thing, okay? So let's do an example. Imagine that you're writing to someone and you only need to give the detail about the metformin. What's metformin? What is that?
Diabetic.
Okay.
Diabetic.
I have no idea. So please note that Mr. Green is taking metformin, okay? What do I say now? I need to give the details.
3 times a day.
3 times a day. How much? Is there a dosage?
5 meals. 5 meals. It depends the medication form.
Okay.
Might be supplement, might be tablet.
Ah, right. I was going to say, is it tablets or is it injection?
Yeah.
So what's that word, guys, that means taking it with your mouth?
Oral.
Orally. Okay. So again.
No, sir, because metformin, there is no injection, no. So no need to mention.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a good point. I'm going to put that as a note, right? Note. If there is only one way of doing it, maybe you don't need to say it, right? Of administer it. I'll just say doing it. Maybe you don't need to say how, right? By doing it, I mean taking it. So, for example, here orally.
Such a situation, the dose they increase or they adjust. We need to tell the new dose as well.
Okay, we'll get into that in a second, but I just want to remind you guys about this analysis I'm giving you. Number 1, you don't need it. Maybe that's the case. Number 2, you do need it, but you can just list with no dosage and no schedule, right? Number 3, sometimes the reader will need the dosage and the schedule for 1 medication or 2 medications. And in that case, only do that. Don't do the others. Okay. The last one is where you have to do everything, and that's really, really horrible. Can we get an example quickly? All right. I'm going to get this one here. Please note, Mr. Green. I'll just do 2 here. Okay. Now I'll do everything. We'll just do hypertensives. Imagine you had to do 3 here, right? Imagine we've got to do dosage. What would we say? We'd say orally. We'd say 50. Shall I say mg?
Yes.
Yes. Everyone knows that.
Everyone does, but I think if you have time, we have been advised by OET to just use the correct word if you can do it easily. So why not just write milligrams? It's not that difficult. All right, so 50 milligrams 3 times a day. Okay, comma, painkillers orally. How often do we take painkillers every day? Let me ask that question to a new person.
Twice a day.
Okay, twice a day. We'll do twice a day.
4 times.
What's the dosage?
500 milligrams.
1 or 2 tablets.
We could do tablets, good, twice a day. And we've got hypertensives. Oops, antihypertensives. What's the dosage? Orally. Is it orally?
Yeah, sometimes it's 4 mg, sometimes 5 milligrams.
Okay, milligrams. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is the one that's really hard, isn't it? This is the one that takes the most amount of time. But the first thing I really want to teach you in this class is you don't always need to do number 4. Okay?
We are not supposed to write like antihypertensive, we have to specify the medication name.
Like Ramipril.
Yeah, like Ramipril.
They normally give the names for hypertensive.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So when you say the names, do you mean?
Can I ask something?
Yes, but someone was just saying something about Ramipril. So Ramipril, are we saying? Let's just talk about brand names. Brand names. Do we need capitals, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Capitals. So can someone give me an example of that, of a capital letter brand name?
Panadol.
Panadol. Okay. But if I'm just doing the generic drug name, generic drug name, do I need capitals?
No.
No.
So I don't do capital P. What do I do? Someone give me an example.
Paracetamol.
Paracetamol. Okay. I'm not sure if that's what that person was talking about, but it's very important. Now, questions. Go on.
Actually, I just thinking like for the number 4, is it okay? Like we can give just drug list, like please note the medication list is.
This is great. Well, no. Now this is really important now. Okay, so let's put some notes here. If the reader needs it, then no. If the reader needs that detail, don't say drug list attached. I think that's a bad idea. Okay.
Yes, so many people doing an OET doesn't like this.
Exactly. Now, however, if you're dealing with maybe a number 2 situation, or even a 1 situation, then yeah, I think you could say drug list is attached because it's not very important.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I move on? Because I need to teach you how to do this now. Anyone?
So
yes.
For the parallel, so just in case, like if we use milligram, we have to use milligram for all of them. So maybe if we use a tablet, or we have to use the same.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about listing, aren't you? And using the same words in the list.
Yep.
I would use the same one. When it comes to tablets, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, I'll show you now. Just to remind you guys, though.
If the patient who's taking medication twice a day, or we can say just once a day, for example, he's taking medication nightly. So can we say that the patient is on this medication nightly? Or once a day only?
You can say nightly, you can say once a day, you can say twice a day. There's many different ways. There's no fixed way, okay? So nightly is fine, okay? Now, we're doing where should you put it? And I won't spend too long with that, okay? But I just want you guys to remember there's 4 possibilities. Either you don't need to give the information, either you do, but you just list it, don't give the dosage, right? Option 3, what's option 3? Option 3 is you have to give the details for 1 or 2. Option 4 is you have to give the details for all of them, okay? Now, where should you write the medications? Because this is quite an interesting question. Where should you write the medications? Should we put them in the introduction?
No.
We obviously shouldn't put them in introduction. Okay.
Background.
Some people like to put it in background. Okay,
in the
maybe.
Story paragraph at the end.
I would say it's possible to put it in a few different ones. Okay. I saw someone put it in the requests paragraph once, and it made sense. They just said, please note that. Right? Plus medication. I think that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Does anyone have a problem with putting it in the requests para?
No.
As long as you say, please note that, should be okay. You could put it in your background para if you want. Again, please note that. You can put it in your story para if you want. Again, please note that. Or you could put that just as you come to it. The story. There's one other option though. If you're doing number 4 and you have to give all the medication, what else could you do? Imagine you've got option 4 and you have to give all the medication. Should I put that inside one of these paragraphs, or should I maybe create a new
paragraph?
Well,
Like
I'm thinking of
medical background. New
why
paragraph
not?
Better.
Imagine you're in the exam and you're very unlucky and you realize that this specialist needs all the medication. You have to list it. Okay. Well, why not make a medication para? Right? Possible. You can do it. It's your choice. One little note as well. Imagine you're writing to a specialist. Can you use abbreviations?
Yes.
Yeah. So often when it comes to number 4, right? Number 4 is, what was possibility number 4, Han? Anyone? What was possibility 4?
Mention all drugs.
All the medications.
Plus detail, right? Okay. Well, often that will be to a specialist. And that you don't have to, you can use abbreviations, can't you? Does anyone disagree? With a specialist, you can use the abbreviations. That's just a little note. Okay, so we've got these 4 possibilities. We can put them in many different places in our essays. We could put them in the story, put them in the background, put in the request. We could create our own para if we want. All right. Let's ask the question now, how do we do it? It's actually not that complicated. Is anyone good at doing this? Kim, are you there? Kalyan,
Yes.
are you there? Are you any good
Yes,
at this? How do you feel about doing medications? Confident?
Quite confident.
Okay, well let's look at this one because I've got my. All you need to do is analyze my example. Okay, can you read my sentence here?
Yes.
Yes.
What does it say?
Mrs. Green takes quinapril, acupril orally, 40 milligrams two times a day.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys a way to do this, but there's more than one way. Okay. So obviously this is the quinapril here.
Yes.
Do I need a capital? Nukba? Emma? Do I need a capital?
Yes. No.
I don't, because this is the generic drug name. I'm assuming. I'm not a medical professional, so is that right?
Yeah.
That's right. But the generic drug name is?
Acupril.
Right? So I need a capital.
Yeah.
Brand name. Okay. So I've decided to put the generic book name like this, then the brand name here. What's next? Han, Niraj.
Comma.
It's optional. You can, if you want, put a comma. But it's optional. Okay. So here we can put a comma.
No.
What does this mean? By mouth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that has to go after the. That has to go after the medicine. Okay.
Medicine.
What comes next?
Dosage.
Dosage, and then.
Frequency.
Okay. Someone has a question. Yes.
Should we write both brand and generic name?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Use whatever you have.
If we have in case notes like this written both the names.
I think this is how I decided to do it because I thought it was logical, but I don't think it's very important. So long as you do one of them, that is correct. Okay. But copy me if you want. You can use mine. Yeah. So generic one, then the brand. But if you want, you could change it round. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we've got dosage, and then we've got the schedule here. Now, there's different ways of saying all this stuff. Does anyone else have any other phrases they want to talk about? There's other phrases we can use. Like, what's another way to say orally?
Oral quinapril.
Nope.
Tablet.
You could say tablets. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can say
Oral.
no. It has to be orally. You could say by mouth. Yes. So where shall I write by mouth? Here.
At the end?
Last.
At the end. Who said at the end?
Me, Neshka.
Yeah. Right. So you have an option, guys. If you want to say orally, you can say orally, right? If you want to say by mouth, then say this. Don't say them both. Okay? Obviously, don't say them both. So that's it. That's how you do medication. Say the drug, comma, orally, comma, give me the dosage, then give me the schedule. Does anyone have any questions?
So we have to write milligram rather than like mg?
It's not a massive thing. If you want to write mg, that's okay. But when I spoke to Rebecca Bush, she said to me that they should be encouraged to use proper language when they can, because it's an English language exam. Obviously, in real life, there's no point.
So with the next medication, will you semicolon, or will you comma?
Well, this is the thing. I'm going to stop talking now, Han. And guys, I would like you to write me this and this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you're in the exam and you've got option 4, possibility 4. You have to mention the detail for all of the things. You have 2 minutes. Write it down. Get a piece of paper, pen. How would you write down the case notes? Off you go. Obviously, you're going to use my example, right? You use my diagram here. There may be some complications, but that's okay. We're just learning. Okay, this is great. We've already got a few people who have typed this out. We've got something from Shiva, which looks good. You can just write it down on paper, or you can type it in the chat box. Beneath us, type saying Mrs. Jones to be given metformin, though it's orally 500 milligrams twice daily. Yeah, Benitha, you can put the comma there for twice daily, but I would prefer 2 times a day, Benitha, okay? Or twice a day from Faryal. I like that. Twice a day is good, but not twice daily. It sounds very, it doesn't sound like a native speaker. It sounds like case notes. Okay, you've got like 30 seconds left, and then I'll go through these. There will be some homework, don't worry, so you can practice this yourself after the class. We've got something from Desiree as well. Oops, so this looks good, Desiree. In fact, I'm going to use yours as an example. That's brilliant. Mr. Green takes metformin 512. Zenobia, it's not oral then? Okay. You could, honestly, I advise you, it's not very hard to write milligrams, Zenobia. It'll impress OET. Every little thing helps, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's been about 2 minutes. Don't worry if you didn't finish. All right, lots of people have finished. and I'm going to show you now. Let me just do this though. 1 second. Okay, so, oh no, I've lost that. I've lost the diagram I made. Never mind. Oops. Okay, so many people finished. Thank you for typing into the chat box. It looks very, very good. I'm just going to take this one from one of you, which looks fantastic, okay? Remember we said that we're going to have commas here, if it's orally, and then we're going to put everything else together, but we're going to say 2 times a day, okay? Or we can say twice a day. We're not going to say twice daily, okay? So let's just read this one. This is from one of you. Mrs. Green takes quinapril. Oops. This is my one. Okay, so, and metformin. This is nice, guys. Can we see this? Who wrote this?
It's me, Desiree.
Okay, Desiree, I love it. So you just carried on, yes?
Yep.
And this is what we can all do, guys. And metformin, Diabex. You've got the commas. What do we need here, Desiree?
Comma.
Yeah.
Just a little space, okay?
Yep.
5 times a day, as well as comma, orally. Okay, nice. You've written 2 times a day here, Desiree, and here. That's okay. But what else could we say? Benita, what could we say? Emma? Zenobia?
Twice a day.
We could just vary it up, couldn't we? Twice a day. Good. Okay, and lots of other people doing similar things I can see. I just want to correct you. Don't write twice daily because it sounds a bit like this. Microphones off, please. Does anyone have any questions about this? Because I've got some more coming. Any questions?
I have a question, sir.
Go on.
So you advising like we should like milligrams in full or just abbreviate it? Which one would you suggest?
I think do it in full. Make sure you spell it correctly. It's not that hard, right?
Okay.
You don't have to though. It honestly doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
I'm more concerned about the commas. What's important are the commas and also saying things like 2 times a day or twice a day and not twice daily.
Sir.
Or yes.
Sometimes I write 3 times per day. PER.
That's also okay. You could say 3 times a day. 3 times per day is good.
Okay.
Any other variations? Does anyone want to try out some language that they use? I'll tell you if it's good or not.
3 times a day.
3 times a day is good. Nightly is okay. Right, that's fine. Anything else?
As
Once a
required.
day.
As required is fine.
Once a day.
Once a day is fine.
When necessary.
When necessary.
When necessary is great as
When
well.
needed.
And need it, good.
As recommended.
Needed. What does that mean, as recommended? Recommended by?
As prescribed.
As prescribed is better. Okay.
As prescribed.
In the morning.
In the morning, we've got all that kind of stuff. We're not going to say twice daily, and we're not going to say as. What did you just say before? As.
Recommended.
Recommended, because that doesn't sound right. Okay. I've got some more. Okay, so let's get cracking with some more. Here we've got quinapril. No, you've seen that one before. Yeah. Here we've got a more of a tricky one. Okay. Now, I think this is from Peter Dunbar. So I think some of this is quite relevant. But I want to get Shiva on the line. Shiva, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Remember, there's 4 possibilities. No medication is needed, right?
Yes.
The second one was list them with no dosage, no details, right? What was the third one? Do you remember?
1 or 2.
You have 1 or 2, Shiva, right? Maybe the reader just needs
Yes, sir.
1 or 2. What's the 4th one, Shiva?
Need to include all the...
Include all detail. I'm going to put that one in red because that one's the horrible one. Okay, but very often you don't need that. I want to practice 2 though, Shiva. I think with this one we could just do 2, right? So imagine you just want to list metformin, ramipril, warfarin, and sotalol. No dosages, no schedules. What would you say, Mr. Green?
Yeah.
Was prescribed.
It's been prescribed.
So we'll get Shiva to do it. Mr. Green has been prescribed, or let's just say is taking. Is currently taking. Shiva?
Taking is fine.
Metformin?
Yes, sir. Currently taking metformin, ramipril,
I don't know why it's done.
warfarin,
Warfarin.
and
Sotalol.
And
okay. Is this correct, guys, or do I need to put something here?
And
I need and, don't I?
Yes.
Should I put
without
capitals?
comma. No.
What about ramipril? Do I need capitals?
No.
Alan, so in this case, I can put it based on the type of medication, for example, like metformin, antihypertensive, such as ramipril and solatone, as well as warfarin.
Oh, like this. You mean and then as well as like that?
As well as.
No, I put
No?
it to because ramipril and sotalone is both of for hypertension, so I can club together.
Ah, right. So you could. Well, let's do that. So that's clever, Han. Let's do that. So she wants to group them. So she could say, you mean like this? Put them here and then say something. Say the sentence, Han, and I'll type
Yeah,
it.
metformin anti-hypertensive like such as ramipril and sotalol.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
well as yeah.
Well, I would say I'm just going to, just for speed. I'm going to say yes. Group them together. And add little phrases in if you want. Add a phrase in like or hypertension. Yeah, that's good. If you can do that, that's fantastic. Okay. Now, microphones off, guys. Just microphones off for a second. I can hear some background noise. Let's imagine now, though, that instead of this, we decide it's option 3. Okay, so I'm thinking my reader wants, sorry, Han, what are the hypertension ones again? Ramipril and?
Sotalol.
Solatol.
So these ones are for hypertension, guys, is that right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
imagine that our reader only needs these 2, okay? Again, you've got 2 minutes to write me 1 sentence or maybe 2 sentences, okay? But I need the detail, right? So it's option 3, give 1 or 2 for detail. All right, so again, get a piece of pen, paper, and write me down what you would like to do, or you can use the chat box as well. Off you go. Okay, now Zenobia, you've given me option 2, right? But I want option 3. Just to be clear, guys, we're doing this one now. Okay, but I want all the dosages. Okay, Zenobia? So we need this one.
Okay.
But you know, it does depend on the reader. Maybe the reader will only need 2 and no details. Right, so there are variations here. Okay, so Shiva says Mr. Green has had hypertension, comma, for which he takes antihypertensives such as ramipril. 5 mg and xylitol. But Shiva, where are the commas? Remember we said the commas? The commas are absolutely key. Emma says, Mr. Green is currently taking orally ramipril 5 milligrams and xylitol 40 milligrams orally. I think we need to get the placing of orally here, Emma. It's not quite right, and I'll talk about that in a second. Alexandra says Mr. Green takes ramipril. Additionally, he takes xylitol 40 milligrams daily. I don't like daily, Alexandra. Let's say every day.
So once a day?
Once a day is fine, but I don't like daily.
Can you say a day? 40 milligrams a day?
A day's fine, yeah. Okay, so lots of people typing in little things. I really like this. Some people from Benitha, Farial. Okay, let's do this together. All right, I should have done the last one together. So I'm gonna say your names. When I say your name, put on your microphone, and we'll write this together. Okay, so we'll start off with Neshka. Neshka, are you there?
I'm here.
So let's say I say Mr. Green is currently taking. What are you going to say now?
Ramipril.
Okay, ramipril.
Antihypertensive.
So I could put that in brackets, can't I? Antihypertensive. Yeah. Good.
ACE inhibitor.
ACE inhibitor.
Comma.
Okay, comma.
5 milligrams. Comma.
5. How do I spell milligrams? M-I?
M-I-L-L-I-G-R-A-M-S.
Okay, and then what else should I say? 5 milligrams?
Sorry, it should be first orally before this.
Don't forget the 2 commas, and then, do I want to put daily?
Once a day.
Yeah, good, once a day. Let's not say daily, guys. It just doesn't sound great. Fantastic. So what about the second one, though? Let me ask Niraj. Are you there, Niraj?
Alan said, please ask somebody else. Rachel is here.
You got your, okay.
Yeah,
Han, help me out here. So ramipril orally, 5 milligrams once daily, once a day, comma.
And warfarin.
Warfarin.
Yeah, 3 to 5 milligrams. Oh,
so,
no.
Do I need
no, we don't need to do the dose. You only need for the hypertension, okay? As
do I need
well as
punctuation, though?
Comma.
Oh, right. So
comma.
we're just doing sotalol, yeah? Not warfarin?
Yeah.
Just sotalol. Sorry, Han.
Okay.
Can you just do sotalol?
Sotalol. Comma. 40 milligrams.
40 milligrams.
Once a day.
Once a day. Do I need to say orally?
Yeah.
By mouth, maybe.
Why don't we say by mouth? Yeah. Okay. So there's a good example. Thank you, Han. I wish you've given me loads of examples.
Once a day, a day.
Once a day.
You can say once a day.
Once a day.
Yep, sorry. And I'll put this on the document as well. I don't want to see daily. Again, it's just a small thing, but it doesn't sound like real English. It sounds like case notes. Okay. Last thing. I'm sorry to go, but the last thing is you will have some homework, which I will mark.
Sir,
Okay.
I have a question, sir.
Yes, go on.
Sir, better not to write for this anti-hypertensive AC inhibitor, because if we are writing to a doctor or a nurse, they already know this is for hypertension or this is a.
I agree.
This is my concern also.
Head count.
Okay. Well, when we think about option 2 here, often we're taking away details, aren't we? Because we know the reader knows that or doesn't need it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, look, if you want to remove that.
And apart from this also, sir, it will increase the word count also, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Okay. So look, think about the reader always. Okay, so if the reader doesn't need it, that's the #1 rule, isn't it? The reader is always one to think about. Okay, you can remove information if they will already know. Okay, but use the 4 possibilities when you think about this. Yes, is there any more questions?
Sir, if we can write, because both of drugs are we have to take, we have to write once a day. So Mr. Green is taking Tamiflu orally 5 milligram and Sotalol for 40 milligram orally. Orally 40 milligram once a day.
Yeah, if they're both, these are the things, I haven't had time today to do this kind of stuff. Let's just, this is for, yeah, you can put once a day at the end if you want. Yes. Okay. So you could say, Mrs. Green is taking Ramapril, I don't know, 40 milligrams. Like you said, milligrams. And what's the other one?
Sotalol.
Ramapril, 40 milligrams, and Sotalol, okay, I don't know, 50 milligrams once a day. You can put it at the end if both of these are the same. Is that what you mean?
Yes, sir.
Both are daily, so you can say it only once, okay? If you're not sure, guys, you can just put it in every time, all right? Okay. Now, someone here wrote this. What's wrong with this? Can anyone tell me the problem here? Mr. Green is currently taking orally Ramapril 5 milligrams and Sotalol 4 milligrams orally.
Comma.
Orally.
So I need comma here, yeah? Then I need Ramapril, spelling Ramapril. What do I need here, guys? Comma. They've put that in, that's good. What do I need next?
And Sotalol,
comma. Do I need this here?
No.
No, where does that go?
Before 40 milligrams.
Yeah.
40 before 40 minutes.
If I want to put it here, though, what should I say? By
mouth.
By mouth. By mouth.
Okay. Okay, so thanks very much for attending, guys. Check out.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome. Check out the study document. There's some extra work for you to do on the study document. We'll do some more of this next week with me, because I'll be doing Mondays and Tuesdays from now on. Don't forget those 4 possibilities, right? What are the 4 possibilities?
Yes.
Number 1, you don't need it. Number 2, what?
1 or 2.
Just
one. No. The details.
He's taking Ramapril, warfarin, and paracetamol. What's that? 1, you don't need it. 2,
Only the details,
only
but
them, not those.
dosage.
no. Okay, number 3. Please note that
1 or 2.
you give the specific medication that they need, right? That the reader needs. Worst case scenario, you've got to do everything. Okay, in which case, don't forget your commas. All right. All right. Thanks very much. I'll see you all soon. Take care.
Thank you.
See you soon, guys.
Thank you for a nice class.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Take care, guys.